Hi, welcome to Astronomical. This is the ZX diode cart, which I built in a previous episode. Link will come up in the top right and the link down below if you want to watch that. And at the end of it, I plugged it into a Spectrum and it appeared to work fantastic. I think this is a really good product. It appeared to work fantastic. It was bringing up the diagnostics on the screen, etc. However, it has various LEDs on this board for showing you various things. The blue and the green work fine. The red ones were dead on arrival. So in this episode, we're going to do a bit of fault finding and find out why. Roll those titles. Is that it? So at the end of that episode when I built this, I said there was a couple of things I suspected could be wrong that would cause these LEDs not to be lit up, not to be working. These three chips are buffer chips. This one controls the blue LEDs, data latch chips, sorry. These control the blue LEDs, this controls the red LEDs, this probably does these four, maybe something else, I'm not sure, I've not checked the circuit diagram out in detail for that. But this one here in the middle definitely controls these red diodes. And the supplier of this, ByteDelight, does supply the full circuit diagram for this board, which is excellent, because I was able to see that that was the chip controlling them. And I could have traced it out on the board, but it's a pain in the arse compared to having a circuit diagram, isn't it? The other thing I thought it could be, if it's not this chip that's broken, would be this switch. And that's because when I was building this switch did not fit the footprint correctly. It was ever so slightly too big or too small? It was ever so slightly too small for the footprint that was on the board. And so when I pushed it in, the legs splayed apart a little bit. You can't see it here because I've soldered and cut the legs now, but they were ever so slightly splayed apart. So we could swap out that chip for maybe this one and see where that works, or we can test this switch as well on the board. This switch controls this chip, as in it decides which clock signal is going to the clock pulse pin, which I think is this bottom right one, but don't quote me on it. But basically there's a clock pulse pin on these chips, and this routes a different pulse pin depending on what function you want these red LEDs to do. They can do two things, but this is not a review of this board. They can do two things, and this controls it. And neither thing was working, whether I slid the switch to that side or that side, nothing worked. So I've got my multimeter here, and I'll just set it to continuity, and we'll just check out that switch. So with these switches, the common is the middle. Let's try and get my wires out of the way, just give that a quick test, yeah. So the common connection is the middle, and that's going to go off to, via some vias, to that chip there. So the middle pin will be connected to that chip there, and then so you can choose whichever clock you need to put on it to be either this that's connected to that middle pin or this that's connected to that middle pin, because it's got three pins coming out of that switch: a left, a middle, and a right. So this is the left, the middle, and the right on that switch. So the middle goes to the chip, and then these are the clocks. So if you slide the switch one way, so if you slide it to this side, which is my right at the moment, then it will connect this pin to that. If you slide the switch that way, it will connect this pin to that. So you just change it like that. You just go and sliding it to that side or to that side. So if it's slid to this side, we should have continuity on here. Yeah, we've still got continuity. And we've got nothing. That switch is not passing anything through. Let's try the other side. Just maybe slide it to the other side. Nothing. Yeah, that was my main suspicion, which is why I tackled it first. The way that pushed in was not right. The footprint was not correct. I mean, apart from that, this board is so well put together and well made. Quality components, just that there's been a slight stocking error on that switch. Okay, so I have got plenty of slide switches, and I'll get one of those. 1 second. Okay, so here it is. So it's the same thing, but a lot bit bigger, and it doesn't look quite as nice, does it? It's got these extra tags on for if you're screwing it into something as well. I'll try and cut them off or fold them over or something. I wonder if they fold over. See if I can just fold one over. Ugh. Yeah, sort of. Press it down. I'll just press it down on my table. One sec. Yeah, that's a bit better. It still doesn't look brilliant, does it? But anyway, so we'll just give a quick test of this. So this switch is slid to, if you look, I've slid to that side. So That should be continuity. You can hear it, it is. And the other side shouldn't. No, nothing. That side, yeah. If I slide it to this side, so I've now slid to this side, we should have continuity between those two pins. Yeah, we do. And nothing on the other side, yep. Looking on the board, it looks like this is the perfect footprint for this. So this is some sort of standard footprint for this type of switch. But this one that they've got for this board, it just doesn't fit. It's just ever so slightly too small. So I'm going to get that desoldered, solder this in, and we'll retest this board. And I'm actually very confident it'll all fully work now as well. So that's the new switch in. That's the old switch out. So I have double checked the pin out of this chip, and this is the clock pulse pin down here. So that should be, according to the circuit diagram, be connected to the middle pin of this switch. Let's flip it and find out. So that's the middle pin there, and it's going to be that pin there. So we should have some continuity, which we have. We're going to keep it on properly. Yeah, so it's connected to the middle pin, and then if the switch is pushed to the left, which it is at the moment, then this pin should be connected to this pin here. Which it is, and should not be connected to this end pin. Shouldn't have any continuity there. No. So let's push the switch to the right, and now the middle pin should be connected to this pin. So this part here of this chip, this pin of this chip, should be connected to this end one here. Which I think we heard it beep, didn't we? Yeah, it is, and it shouldn't be connected to this end one. No. So yeah, okay, that's now definitely wasn't working properly before. Now is. So let's plug it into the Spectrum, and I'll be highly surprised if this isn't working. Okay, one Spectrum, one Diagnostics board. Let's plug this in. Pop it in. There we go. Now, I'm not totally familiar with this, but I know that we weren't having any red LEDs coming up, and it should do some sort of chaser effect when we first switch on, which wasn't doing anything no matter what this switch was set to. So you can see I've got the switch here now. I'm going to set it to the left, which means it should do a chaser startup, and these will also represent, they'll light up differently if there's a memory error, as far as I remember from a quick read of the instructions. Right, power up. Hey, I must admit I was actually very confident of that working. So we've got the chasing going down, the LEDs are lit up. Fantastic. If we switch over to, well, I'll do a reset and it'll go through the test again. If I switch over to this side, it's now showing the data bus. So you can see activity on all data lines. No data lines are held down. We've got plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, plus 9 volts, 12, plus 12 volts, all looking brilliant and correct. So yeah, all working, fantastic. So it was just a simple thing as the switch and maybe splayed the legs apart because the footprint wasn't quite the size for that switch, and it was only a very tiny amount of time, but it doesn't take much, and obviously the mechanical strain had damaged the switch, so it wasn't working. Right, let's get another Spectrum. A nose broke, and then we'll just see what it does with that. Okay, we've got this one. I've never opened this one up. I just know this is definitely broke. I did power it on and get a bit of a picture coming through on the RF. It's not had a composite mod yet. And yeah, it was showing corrupted screen and everything. So generally, it's usually a memory issue. I'm not going to, I'm not got a composite mod. I'm not going to try and tune it in. Let's pretend that this one is giving no video out. So we could plug this board in, and this will give you some diagnostics. So I set this switch to the left. This will give you some helpful diagnostics on the memory, etc. there. So let's plug it in and see what we get different compared to the one that I've just shown. Okay, so we've got the countdown, and it's showing an error on, it's like memory 5. Now it's lit up now. I presume that there was some sort of problem with memory 5. Never did that before. And you look, all are still lit up. By this point, when it was doing the previous working Spectrum, they'd all gone out. So that seems suggesting that maybe all memory's faulty. However, looking down here, as I said, it's a great diagnostic board. It's telling me I've got plus 5 volts, I've got a plus 9 volts, but I don't appear to have minus 5. and plus 12. Those voltages are missing, and they're critical for the first 16K of RAM that needs them. So that instantly is telling me roughly what's going wrong with this. We've not got the correct voltages to the RAM chips. Now, maybe it's damaged the RAM chips as well because we've not got the correct voltages, or we could just maybe correct the voltage circuit, which if you know anything about repairing spectrums, seeing that those are -5 and plus 12 are missing, you know which part of the circuit does that. And there's a couple of common failures with that, which I'll investigate when I do this particular speccing, and using this board, I'll know exactly where I need to be looking at. This isn't a review of this product, but I really do think it's great, despite the switch issue there, minor thing. So that's it for now, all working. You'll see this in some other videos as I mend spectrums. And don't worry if you're used to some of my Arduino ESP32 content, that is not gone. I'm just mixing it up a bit, doing a bit of this, bit of that, things that I enjoy doing, and hopefully you enjoy watching. So that's it for now. Thanks, as always, for watching. Really is appreciated. I wouldn't do any of this if people didn't watch, so I really do appreciate that. The usual thing that people always say is things down below to support the channel, whatever. Do if you want or don't, whichever. It's all down there. Have a look. So there is some affiliate links down there. I would really appreciate it, particularly if you're from the US. If you click one, you don't have to buy the thing that the affiliate link is for. Just it'll take you to Amazon and you can search for anything you want. And on certain products, I'll get an affiliate kickback. It doesn't cost you anything different. It's the same price, but they give me a really small percentage. It is a small percentage, but I need a certain amount of orders to get on the affiliate program for the Amazon.com for the US version. So I would appreciate if you're from America, click on an affiliate link if you've got anything to buy from Amazon and just buy something so I can get my affiliate account set up, because it's only got so many days to run, and then they'll just say, no, you can't do it because you've not had any orders. So would really appreciate that if you could. Anyway, that's all for now. Till next time, cheerio.